anxiety must be in your mind every day. I know you can't help it. But have faith and confidence, darling. Things will come right in the end.
Well, Gwen Coxhead was the little girl that grew up in this cottage. Her father was the first ranger of the Cars Park estate. She didn't start school at Blakehurst Public School until she was 7 years old because her mother didn't want to part with her because her mother had lost infant twin boys who were younger than Gwen. So she was her mother's only child. Later on, her mother sent her to the business college and said that she would have to get a job in an office. So by that time, I think she was starting to notice boys, and there was a young lad that used to come around here. His father was on the Cogra Council, and his name was Jack Buckham. All the young people came here to swim. It was the only swimming pool in the area. And of course, Gwen and Jack probably got to know each other from a young age. She was friendly with Jack, and they went along together. By the time she was in her early 20s, Jack had proposed, and she and Jack were going to become engaged. And they had their engagement announced in the Sydney Morning Herald on the 30th of December 1939. Gwen engaged a dressmaker, a lady at Peakhurst, to do her wedding dress, but it was awkward because everything was on clothing ration coupons in those days. She would be restricted in the size of the dress that she could have. And then they were separated because Jack went up to the country to Moree to work, and he was in an essential industry, so he didn't have to enlist in the army. Gwen's wedding dress, it was ready, all ready for her to be married the moment Jack came home. And they were going to be married up in St Cuthbert's Church in Park Road at South Carlton. That was the church where Gwen had been baptised in 1915. It was the family church, and Gwen sang in the choir there. And obviously she was looking forward to the day of her wedding. But very sadly, somebody sent him a white feather. White feathers were a token of cowardice. And that's what made him join up into the armed forces. He went from Moree down to Tamworth and he enlisted. And that was on the 19th of June 1940. They'd only been engaged for 6 months at the time. Now he was shipped out overseas with the 2nd 30th Battalion. They were in Singapore when Singapore fell to the Japanese. While Jack was at the war front, of course he tried his best to keep in touch with Gwen.
Since writing you last, we have moved on from the rubber plantation and are now concealed in the jungle not far from the road. I wish you could hear all the eerie and queer noises that go on about us. We are certainly leading an unsettled sort of life. We are here today and gone tomorrow sort of thing. Short notice to move is becoming a habit, and for that reason, our vehicles are always loaded and ready to move within the hour. Even though you don't hear from me regularly, don't worry. I'll be alright and will write to you at every opportunity. Please write to me often, sweetheart.
Jack's letters arrived and Gwen treasured them and she kept them and they still exist. But none of the letters which she wrote to him, of course, still exist because he would have lost all of those when he was taken prisoner. At the fall of Singapore, he was taken prisoner with the hundreds of thousands of other men that were prisoners of the Japanese. He was taken up to work on the Burma Railway, which was a harrowing experience where there was very much death and sickness. And that's when Jack's letters stop, all communication stops. Nobody knows what happened to Jack at that point. He fell ill and he finally died. He died on the 15th of October 1943. After Gwen stopped receiving the letters from Jack, she waited and she waited, and undoubtedly she was very sad that she never knew whether her fiancé was going to come back. She never knew if she'd get to even wear the wedding dress and walk down the aisle with her father. Gwen never knew what became of him, but Gwen always held him up on a pedestal. If she spoke about him, she used to speak in glowing terms. She would say, He was a born leader. He was an inspiration to everybody around him. I don't know how she knew that, but that's the way she felt about him. After the war, she even placed an advertisement in the paper asking if any soldier knew what became of Jack Buckham, would he get in touch with her. Some years after she died, Jack's grave was discovered in Malaya. Gwen never knew what happened to her fiancé. After he disappeared, Gwen never felt like going out with another man. She said it was because she missed Jack so much, and she never did. It was only after she died, when people were going through her estate, they discovered the wedding dress, all neatly packaged up in a suitcase. She had kept it all those years, and it was a wedding dress that was never worn.
Anxiety must be in your mind every day. I know you can't help it. But have faith and confidence, darling. Things will come right in the end. We all hope to be seeing our folks at home before long. I hope our sunny shores never witness the horror of these modern-day wars. It is indescribable, and those in power should make absolutely certain that there isn't ever the remotest chance of another war ever.